Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. In our first story, a choosing beggar is asking for donations, but there's a minimum. Let's jump right in. This is my first post here. I found it on another social media, so I decided why not contribute something from my life. So it was around 2015 when I started to become one of the seniors in my boarding school. On my room, there are also juniors that I basically supervise so they won't break the rules in our dormitory, but I tend to let some things slide. One night when I was typing a report on a Friday in December, a couple weeks before Christmas break, I overheard a conversation from someone asking for donations at 9 p.m. If people asked for donations, I'd assume they'd go to the canteen or the hallways just so that they'd get a higher chance of other students or even teachers actually stopping and contributing. But in the middle of the night? I walked to where the conversation started and took a peek for a bit. Apparently the donation was for his group's, basically group of people who were born from a specific part of the country, for their Christmas event outside of the school area. What they're basically going to do is they're going to have a barbecue. At first, I find it's alright that they ask for donations for that, since they're far from their hometown and money could be a struggle to get since we can't go out of the school or dorm area outside of weekends. Then it hit me, donations are only allowed if it's school-related events, not events outside or unrelated to the school itself. I eventually asked the guy what the donations were all about, and then the guy was actually spooked that I was there. The choosing beggar was a year younger than I am. That kind of raised the alarm for me. The guy also brought a sheet of paper with signatures and tables to list who and how much the donators donated. For some unknown reason, no one who's from my own batch or even supervisors and teachers donated, even though it was for a Christmas event. Surely at least one or two names from the teachers or dorm supervisors would show up if it is an actual Christmas event. I then grab the paper and see the signatures. There's not even a signature from the higher-ups of the school themselves, so this kind of raised the alarm again and the guy left in a hurry. Fast forward to midnight. I woke up to go to the toilet and it's a Saturday. Suddenly, I overheard another conversation and guess who showed up? It was the choosing beggar yet again asking for donations from the juniors. This time I just sneaked over and listened in from the wall beside him. It turned out the junior actually wanted to donate with his spare change, but then the choosing beggar rudely said, "There's a minimum donation of 50,000 rupees. $3-ish. For context, that could buy you some cheap alcohol. It is for a Christmas event. Don't be so cheap." I looked at the paper and he already raised about $50 from the donations. I really feel bad that my juniors actually gave money to this guy. Also, never have I ever seen someone who would actually put a minimum donation, so I grew suspicious of this. On Monday, I asked my dorm supervisors and they didn't even know this was going on. Not even my principal knew of this. Even the leader of the group he's in was unaware of what he was doing. Fast forward again to the next weekend. He comes back again to ask for donations. I quickly stop by and ask what this is all about. He gives the same reasons. To test him, I pretend to give him some money in small amounts and he quickly rejected it. "Why don't you have a heart? It's a minimum of 50,000 to donate. This is for a great cause." "Really? Because that sounds awfully close to the price of some cheap booze," I said in a joking tone. The guy talked back a bit but then left in a hurry. He didn't come back for the rest of the day. Early in the morning, I heard someone was scolding someone else. I took a peek and it was the choosing beggar getting told off by his group leader. There was some profanity thrown around, but it was basically the group leader saying that the choosing beggar was making his group look bad around campus. Later that day, the group leader apologized for what had been happening in my dorm. Also that day, I started to hear rumors from my juniors about the choosing beggar being drunk every weekend on bottles of local cheap booze. I wonder where he got the money for it. Glad I put a stop to that choosing beggar, or else he would have continued to guilt-trip my juniors for his booze. Next semester, I found out the choosing beggar was expelled due to other past infractions and because of this begging. Both the group leader and I reported it. I hoped it would stop, but I actually didn't think that things would go so bad for that guy. Story number 2, I expect a master's level quality of professionalism. As a side gig, I run a freelancing writing and blogging business in which I will write approximately 1,000-word articles on any topic for people for between 26 to 29 Australian dollars, depending on the complexity of the article and my familiarity with the topic. I often get approached by smallish boutique businesses asking me to write a blog about good wedding locations, best bars in the city, and other fun lifestyle topics. I am open with people about my level of knowledge on a topic, and if I know not much about it, I tell them that I will research it on Google and write a fun blog basically summarizing my research. It's good publishable quality, but hardly master's level university academic writing. I got approached by a choosing beggar the other day asking me to write some blogs for them promoting their business consulting firm and how they do internal audits for other businesses and what the process is like and all that. They asked me if I could write a few blogs on that topic, and I said of course. And then they asked what my rates were. I said that since I would need to do a bit of research on the topic, I would settle for $27 for a blog. They ummed and awed and said that was a bit too much. Could I do it for $26? I tried to be nice, so I said okay. They then said great, but you need to include that we are ISO 9001 compliant and that we work with a range of professional auditors from all these firms, and you need to explain the difference between this type of auditing and that type of auditing. And it needs to cover this point and that point, and it needs to be written in a real academic writing manner, not conversationally, and we need to start ASAP. Send it within 2 hours, and if they didn't like it, they would suggest all these amendments and so on. I said that this was a bit more work than I normally do for a blog, but I was fine to do it if they could compensate me fairly. So for that, I would expect $29 Australian per blog. They then started getting upset about how I was ripping them off, and they heard I wrote a wedding blog for $26, so why couldn't I do the same for them? Because the wedding blog is more enjoyable to write on, which makes it easier? This sounds like a lot more effort. They then called me a scam artist. I said that if they expected master's level writing, then they should contact someone who has a master's on this topic and get charged $50 an hour. You get what you pay for. In story number 3, can you buy airline tickets for us too? Okay, so I've had to tell one of my employees to no longer let his wife contact me directly after this. We sometimes need to travel for work, and when COVID hit last year, we were stuck with lots of unused airline tickets. While the airlines have given us travel credit, they are in the name of the passenger, so while I paid for their ticket, it is each employee who has the credit. Talking with our clients, it appears we're going to be meeting virtually for the foreseeable future. Rather than let the travel credits expire and have no value after December 31st, 2021, I told our team that they can use them for personal travel. I'd rather see them use it for a vacation than for them to go to waste. Remember, the credit is only in the name of the original passenger, nobody else. So my employees can use them for themselves, but not other people, like spouses or children, etc. So after announcing this, I got an email from the same begging wife who contacted me asking for a free color printer earlier this year. While she thought it was nice that I gave the employees the option to use the company-paid tickets for personal travel, it's only good for him, not her and not their kids. She was wondering if I would consider offering some sort of deal for them, like 50% reimbursement so they could all go on vacation. What the flip? At minimum, I'm paying for 25% of their vacation airfare, but that's not good enough? I emailed back with a curt no. This was offered as a token of appreciation for the hard work everyone is doing. Going forward, please do not contact me in the future unless it is an emergency regarding employee name. I then called my employee and told him that barring some emergency involving his grave illness or death, I don't want her emailing or calling me ever again. Despite my tone that in hindsight was probably harsher than it should have been, he was very apologetic and said she'd written to me without his knowledge. You know what they say, no good deed goes unpunished. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.